Hello guys, and we are here today with another very awesome deck profile. This is the deck that's going to be defined in this format. This is Pepe for all purposes, and it's really, I have to admit, I don't have a lot of fun playing this deck. Like, when I was playing Performance Magicians, which I actually bought a whole bunch of cards and decided to build in real life because it's cheaper than this deck, it's fun playing Performance Magicians, but it isn't really fun playing this deck because I go and then I end turn with multiple notices and then an infinity, and it's just like, yeah, you're not gonna break my board here. Like, I can negate 2 Pendulum Summons and negate 1 card effect with infinity. It just doesn't seem fun at that point, and I don't know why, when Pendulum Magicians is the same deck in essence for the most part. And of course, there are some good news though when it comes to the pricing, is that Monkey Board is a common, I do believe, and I do believe the Yu Turtle is also a common, although I'm not entirely certain. And with how easy it is to get the Performance Engine, the only cards that are really going to be expensive is the Lost of Pendulum, the Aeronade, and that's probably going to be it. Like, and of course the notices are going to be really expensive. Hopefully Twin Twister is also common, or a Super Rare. Super Rares are going to be really good now with Super Rares being in every single pack, because they're no longer hard to get, so cards that are really nice that people want, such as common cards, those really good common cards, they can be printed as Super Rare, and it really won't change with how hard it is to get, so that's really nice. So let me just go right into the deck. 3 Monkey Board, because it can allow us to search for our other scale. And if you do not have a Performance Power monster and your other scale becomes 4, just note that. Lost of Pendulum, he's amazing. He triggers a lot of stuff. He triggers Aeronade, he triggers Plush Fire, and of course he can be used to make the Synchro and XZ monster. And then Skullcrobat Joker, if I can speak today, he can search out pretty much most of our deck. He can search out him, he can search out Monkey Board, Yu Turtle, Lizdraw, and yeah, that's it. Actually, he can search out a decent amount, but not all of it. Aeronade is of course the most amazing card to come out as of late. If it's destroyed by battle or by card effect, reveal 3 counter traps from your deck, have your opponent add 1 of them to your hand and shuffle the rest back into the deck. Do know that it's a 3 scale and that its pendulum effect is you do not have to pay life to activate counter traps. You do not discard cards to activate counter traps, so that is really good. If you do have this as a scale, it is not the worst thing in the world. Maybe you opened up with way too many of your counter traps and now you can't use her effect to search because you have to have 3 in your deck. You have to reveal 3 in order to get off her effect. So being able to place her on the scale and then setting multiple notices is really good, because then you can just activate them without having any side effects. Anyways, Trick Clown only 2, you only really need 2. And then we have the Damage Juggler definitely at 3 because it's the searcher of the deck for the Performance Engine, and then 3 Pendulum Wizard. He triggers a lot of stuff such as Aeronade and Plush Fire. When he's Pendulum Summoned, target up to 2 cards you control, destroy them, and add an equal number of Performance Power monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. And so that's really useful. It sets you up for next turn because you can destroy, most of the time you're going to be destroying Monkey Board and Yu Turtle and then adding Skullcrobat Joker and Yu Turtle, or maybe Yu Turtle and a Lizdraw. Or something along that lines. It depends on how it works. Like if you use Monkey Board to search Yu Turtle, then you can activate Yu Turtles and then summon out a Wizard if you already had it, and then use Wizard to destroy Monkey Board and then some other cards such as Plush Fire, Aeronade, and then search out Lizdraw and then activate and get a +2, which is really nice. So Plush Fire, it's our floater in the deck. If it's destroyed by battle by card effects, special 1 performance monster from your hand or deck. And then we're running 1 Mirror Conductor. He's still very useful, being able to switch attack and being a 3 scale, but he's pretty much just another target and another light monster. And then we're only running 1 Lizdraw. I just didn't want to draw into too many of them and have just clog your hands, but definitely is very useful. And then Yu Turtle's Pendulum effect is amazing. If a performer card is activated in the Pendulum Zone, draw 1 card. So it just allows you to get even more cards, especially with a Lizdraw who destroys himself if he's in the Pendulum Zone and you control another Performer Power card in your Pendulum Zone, then you can draw 1 card. So that's 2 cards right here, so they replace themselves. And then if you can get off some other scale, you can go for your Pendulum Summon, but normally you do this after you've already Pendulum Summoned. Of course, we're running 1 Instant Fusion because it's a good way to get back our Pendulums. and the whatnot, and it's just a free rank 4 pretty much, and helps with making infinity. Regeki, and then Foolish, of course, for our damage juggler. We're not running Brilliant Fusion and any Gemini monsters. The deck really doesn't need it, and the extra normal summon, it's not the most important thing in the world. I'd just rather not run the normal monsters. Triple Wavering Eyes, of course, both for stun purposes and again to help make our deck even faster, being able to get to other cards, such as the cards that don't really have searches, such as Serenade and Luster Pendulum, and it will get why we are not running Clash of the Drake Rivals at the end. And then of course 2 Twin Twister so we can make a play, and then for our counter traps, Wiretap, Notice, and Warning. Of course again we will be revealing the warnings and the notices first, but eventually you will have to reveal Wiretap. You can only activate Serenade 3 times, because once you search out 3 of the traps you only have 2 more, and then you will no longer be able to activate Serenade. The Wiretap is definitely very useful because it messes with your opponent, especially in the mirror match or any match, because everybody can't be running Notice. If they know you have Wiretap, they're not going to be using Notice, because you're just going to chain with a Wiretap and then they're going to lose 1500 life. They don't want to do that. So just having that Wiretap can force them into a position where they can't stop your plays, and they just have to wait until they draw into a Twin Twister or a Wavering Eyes opportunity where they can banish it appears. And why we are not running Clash of the Draco Rivals, I feel, okay, the normal Draco Slayer monster isn't that bad because we can use for any XYZ, but it's just so many cards. You're running 2 vectors, 2 of the normal pendulum, or maybe 1, some people only run 1, and I just didn't feel like it was really worth it. Like, the deck doesn't really need the Draco Slayer all that much. Like, it needs to be in the deck, don't get me wrong, but like if you don't see it in a game, doesn't mean you lose. So I don't feel the extra searching is all that necessary. I'd rather have the extra performance monsters and just be able to do more combos with them and make more rank 4 plays than going for those, the Synchro or the XYZ or even the Fusion, which I do think comes out in Bosch. I completely forgot about the Fusion. Anyways, for the extra deck, it's pretty much just a generic extra deck. Do have a couple comments though. Nodin, and then Ignister, and then Infinity, of course. Amaterasu still very useful to get back our damage jugglers and anything else that does get banished one way or another. Dark Rebellion, and then Trapeze, 101 Castell, Magister. And then this card, okay, I kept this card over from when I was playing Pendulum Magicians and from previous builds with this deck, because it is really useful. Just discard 1 card and draw 2 more, get you more of your trap cards, get you more of your scales, but you never end up with just 1 card in your hand with this deck because of Wizard. You're always searching 2 cards. So you have so many cards in hand, it's like, I don't really want to use this because I have 3 Pendulum monsters in my hand, and like the extra drawing will help, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to dump what I just searched off of Wizard. So it kind of messes with them. If you want to take him out, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You don't make him all that often in this build, but in Pendulum Magicians he's really useful because he helps trigger off your damage jugglers and your trick rounds. And then of course we are running the Diagester Emerald, the Abyss Dweller, Gaga Cowboy for game, and the Bataliamos. And that is pretty much it for the extra deck. And the deck as a whole, like I said, it's not the most fun deck in the world, and meta decks tend to not necessarily be too fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun playing Shadows, and Booming Abyss isn't the worst thing in the world to play either, but this deck, it's just harsh, because if you open up Amazing, like this deck can go second or first, but it still wants... I'm still trying to figure out if it wants to go first, because setting up with an Infinity and then multiple Solemns is just crazy, and that to me says go first so that way you can get it off. And it doesn't really OTK as much, so maybe going first with this deck is a really good idea, just to think about. But like, it just doesn't have that fun factor. And I mean, I've played a Trap Tricks deck where it was set 5 past turn, and I still don't find this deck all that fun because it's just so harsh. Like, my opponent just can't break my field. I have Infinity, I have double Notice. What is my opponent going to do at that point? And maybe even Wavering Eyes if they're playing Pendulums or something else, and maybe I decide not to use it for whatever reason. This is really, really... I don't want to say powerful, but just kind of annoying. I feel annoying, so that's saying, like, it just doesn't feel fun. While playing my Pendulum Magicians, it definitely feels fun to play that deck. But that is my opinion. You may have a whole bunch of fun playing this deck, especially if you can play it in real life. I highly suggest if you can get this deck IRL, you play this deck, because it's an amazing deck. So, if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later.